Bonsoir tout le monde.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this regular and public meeting of the Municipal Council on September the 23rd, 2019. We shall begin with our opening words. Dear colleagues, let's have the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Without any further ado, we'll call the meeting to order. Confirmation of a quorum. Everybody is here. Then, adoption of agenda. A motion by Councillor Leblanc, seconded by Councillor Cormier, that we accept the agenda as presented. Question on this motion? No questions. All those in favor to adopt the agenda say aye. Contrary minded, nay. The agenda is adopted as presented. Let's proceed with item 7, presentation, inquiries, and petition. 7.1. As is the case every week, inquiries by council members for the Kodiak Regional RCMP. Gentlemen, question. And ladies, Ms. Arsenault, thank you, Your Worship. Good evening. I only have a word of congratulations for the police. Congratulations for the Congrès Mondial Acadien that we had recently. The safety was second to none. We felt good. Even the police were visible. What I like very much, and I think the city was aware of this, an agreement had been reached with the city. It was the big heavy trucks, heavy cars that were placed in the middle of the road to make sure nobody would come on our back when we were walking. I was glad to see that. I wanted to congratulate the police and also congratulate to the committee. And I think the manager knows which committee I'm talking about. Thank you. Thank you very much. And if I can answer, I want to thank the city of Dieppe for having worked with us, the RCMP, for these heavy trucks. I was a member of the committee. It was one of the requests that I had made at the beginning to have a safe parade. We needed that. We have to be realistic. We never know what can happen. I want to thank the city of Dieppe for your assistance. And the workers were patient with us because sometimes we play a game. We used to place this place and whatnot. So thanks for your assistance. Thank you to you also. Thank you. Flowers, no pots. We'll keep it that way. Well, so be it. Unless you have something to add, as always, you're welcome to stay. We'll understand if you should decide to leave. We have activities going on in Moncton at the present time. Moncton. As long as you keep them on the other side, we'll be happy. Well, that's mobile, by the way. Thank you. Good evening. 7.2, presentation. The problem of trees, place 1604. Good evening, Mr. Bijot. Good evening, Your Worship, members of council. Tonight, I want to present the situation, the problems that we find with the trees at place 1604. Here are the different objectives that I will deal with tonight. The introduction of the problem, the trees, the analysis and the process that we recommend, the recommendation that we have for you, and the next steps. Introduction, you know that the ice ring has been in operation for 3 years. We operated 3 full seasons, and we have 10 trees that are on each side, the linden trees, that kind of tree loses its leaves very late in the year. 2 years out of 3, it went as far as February. The challenge is as follows. When the leaves fall on the ice, no matter the outside weather, it can be cold. As soon as we have a little bit of sun, the leaf freezes on the ice and it causes a hole, and we have no choice but to ask the employees to remove them manually. We break the ice and we have to redo. Two elements, it creates a danger for the users because sometimes we can miss some of them, and it makes such that we can delay the use of the ice ring. And what we saw is that people don't expect that. It's cold. It can be minus 10 outside. It's sunny, and they come to the ice ring, and we have to delay. It's a danger for the skaters. So sometimes it makes holes in the ice, and you don't see it easily. So the situation will worsen because the linden that we presently have on location are presently 6 meters high. We can expect that they will triple in height, even quadruple in height. The problem will become more and more serious in the years to come. I would like to indicate there is the element of leaves, but also the roots that will cause problems because that kind of tree, whether you want it or not, some roots grow on each side. You'll see in the next photograph here, this one. The bricklet along the ice ring where we made a kind of a bench, and we've placed some picture of provinces and territories. We see that it started to go beyond that zone. It makes such that if we can imagine in another 10 years from now, the tree will double in height easily. And also a photograph that shows the other side. It causes challenges for the snow removal because it will go in the parking lot if we keep that kind of tree. The way that we came to the recommendation that was taken seriously, we made a lot of analysis. We've been working on the file for a year and a half. We waited one more year to make sure that was not at random. The staff from the recreational installation with the maker presentation on April the 12th, our technologist was present, and he was involved throughout all the meetings during this process. Following that meeting, an internal committee was formed, and we worked and consulted to come to some recommendations. We also consulted the outside group urban workshop because they had work on the downtown plan where they had recommended some concept. We wanted to see if they could propose a solution to us. So we met on 3 occasions. 3 options were discussed, but 3 were retained. We threw away 2 of them. It was not realistic. 2 presentations were made to the management to analyze the 3 options in question. The consensus of a recommendation was presented to council. Since then, recently, we went one step further. We consulted with experts in the landscaping. We had a meeting on September the 3rd. We invited 6 individuals, 3 attended. 1 more was met on location. We discussed on the phone. 1 was outside the country, and 1 person simply did not attend. But I can tell you it was unanimous. We discussed different options, but it was unanimous that we should keep the same proposal as the one we had found. And we did not present the recommendation before we had the discussions with them. We talked of planting something else, but it was a problem. You'll see the recommendation. It's as follows. What we propose is to cut the trees that are presently on the site, the linden, and replace them by Japanese lila. They lose their leaves earlier in the season. We say by the end of November it should be over even earlier. And we can make it such that they lose their leaves earlier, and the maximum in height is 7 meters. Furthermore, that kind of tree, and the expert confirmed it at the meeting of September the 3rd, it's a tree that is very robust. It adapts to an urban environment that was unanimous with the group that we consulted on September the 3rd. I have the photographs. You see what kind of tree that it gives. It creates some shadow. We must not imagine that it will be bigger than what you see, but that will be the extent of its height at maturity. We have included photographs in the fall. It's a beautiful tree, and it's a leaf tree. The cost $9,000 to purchase the trees. And we say if there's repair to be done, it should not cost us more than $10,000. We don't believe that too much repairs will be required. The challenge with one proposal to remove the tree is that it would damage very much the whole infrastructure, because there's a lot of infrastructure, underground infrastructure. We don't see it. There's a lot of infrastructure underground. Even that the policy who did the landscaping for place 1604 was there, and they said it's very complicated, the underground. So we respect the policy 7.1 of the tree. What we propose is that the trees will be cut in September, but it'll probably be in the next 2 weeks, and we'll replace them immediately. And the trees that we will use will have a certain size, an important size, at least 2 or 3 meters in height. So it should be really a tree that has a certain maturity already. I'm available to answer questions if you have any. Questions from the councillor, Mr. Thibodeau. It's not a question, it's a comment. I've had a Japanese lilac at home. It's a very beautiful tree, and furthermore, it's true that the leaves fall early, even before all the trees. So it should solve the problem. Yes. I want to repeat that the experts clearly said that that kind of tree will cause some problems on long term. It's not the kind of tree, because when we planted the trees, we did not know there would be an ice ring, and we did some development. That's it, Your Worship. Mr. Cadet. Thank you, Your Worship. 2 points. Number one, it solves the problems for the roots with the trees. Secondly, my question as to the snow removal. You said it was a problem in the winter with a tree that is more fragile. Is there still a problem with the snow removal? It depends how the snow is removed. If it's push, it doesn't work. But if it's a snow blower, the tree, it's more the case with the tree we have. When I talk about challenge for snow removal, I'm talking about long term. If we call the linden as we have now, there's 3 size. The size, or they grow 3 times the size, it will become a problem. Right now, it's not. We have people from Public Works here. But what the experts told us is that the Japanese lilac is very robust. It will resist. It's one that is used in urban environment. So it should really not be a problem. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Cadet. Ms. Arsenault, you get your answer. It was the roads, the infrastructure. Thank you. I don't see any further question. Thank you for the presentation. Thank you. And The resolution will come later, part of item 7. Question from the public. We're heavy public tonight, no question? No? So we continue with adoption of the minutes, regular council meeting held on September the 9th. Question by Ms. Sarcenos, moved, seconded by Councilor Benito on the question. No question on the minutes for September the 9th. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried as presented. Item 10, motion memorandum and nomination. 10.1, culture, leisure, and community life. And come back to the trees for the reading. Mr. Leblanc. Thank you, Your Worship. Did the Council accept the agreement between culture, the cut of 3 trees at 1604 and replacing it by a new type of tree, the Japanese lilac? I move, Your Worship. Moved by Councilor Leblanc, seconded by Councilor Gadet on the question. No question? All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried as presented. I've been told that we would plant 10 additional trees elsewhere at the fire hall. We will double the number of trees that we presently have. Thank you. I know it was worth being added. Item 10.1.2, Mr. Melanson. Your Worship, good evening, members of Council and the public. As a first guideline, a directive, we go to a directive in camera. The first one is the land purchase close to the Lakeburn the Dieppe Recreation Center for $35,000 with an opportunity to acquire and expand the space close to our complex at the Boys and Girls Club. We will acquire 1.66 acres. So it's to make public the acquisition, $35,000 plus HST. To read the resolution, Mr. Ala. The Council authorized the purchase of a portion of land located near the Dieppe Recreation Center and identified under PID 0101-4760 at the cost of $35,000 plus HST, as well as survey and legal fees, and further authorize the expenditure be deferred from account number 7-4-20-12-8950, reserve fund land for purpose. I so move. Moved by Councilor Ala, seconded by Councilor Thibodeau on the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried as presented. 10.2.1. Once again, the approval of ratification of directive accredited for this file. We revised the downtown development. This came from expansion Dieppe in 2019. It was ratified, the business costs for the study of phase 2, as well as to pursue the acquisition of the development of New-Brunswick. So a call of project will be initiated shortly. So this resolution make this initiative public, and it will say what kind of development must be made in this downtown zone. For the reading, Mrs. Leboutier. Thank you, Your Worship. That Council accept the document entitled Plan d'affaires du Centre-Ville de Dieppe, prepared by the firm Strategy Mobilière LGP, except to commence the preparation of a call for projects for lots 6 to 10 identified in Schedule B, attached to the memorandum dated May the 1st, 2019, whose purpose would be dealing with the above-mentioned business plan, give a directive to City of Dieppe staff to obtain the council's approval of criterion for set calls of project prior to the launch. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Mrs. Deboutier, seconded by Councillor Arsenault. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. 10.2.1 is adopted as presented. Finance 10.3.1, Mr. Melanson. Well, here with expansion Dieppe, the city has always sustained guarantee of land or credit margin following some transaction of land and exchange. Was such that some lands were not in guarantee or collateral anymore, so the lands are back with a line of credit for all the work and development expansion Dieppe will want to undertake. It's to make it public. For the reading of the resolution, Mr. Thibodeau. Thank you, Your Worship. That Council repealed the directive adopted on October the 11th, 2016 and ratified on February 27, 2017, entitled A Line of Credit Land Given in Security, and adopt the following. That Council authorized that the land parcel identified under PID 70439419 be given as security to satisfy the balance of all loans negotiated by Expansion Dieppe Inc. up to a maximum of $1,500,000. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Leblanc. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried. 10.6.1 Engineering. Also, an agreement of development partnership with Triton West and the City of Dieppe on Acadia Street. This follows the negotiation and TriQuest. It's a signing that is commercial development on Avenue Acadie in Sudbury. It explains the role and responsibility of each one, and it explains the financial incentive for the property, and the amount eligible are following towards the loan of this new building. We talk about height and size. Underground, 62 parking lane, $10,000 per parking lane, $600,000. All the elements are in the agreement to make it public, and it will be reimbursed on a 6-year period. It's a good project. The agreement will be made public. For the reading of the resolution, Mr. Cormier. Thank you, Your Worship. The Council ratified the signing of the agreement concluded between the City and TriQuest Investment Run. The development located on 202, and I so move. Moved by Councillor Cormier, moved by Councillor Guedet. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Against? Carried as presented. 10.4.2 designated highway program. Each year, each municipality must submit the program for designated highway program. The provincial highway designated highway. This is the proposal for the City of Dieppe for the program 2020 until 2024. Mention 2020 because the resolution will be very clear with the following year. And to repeat the resolution, but priority for the City of Dieppe is the leveling and paving of Champlain Street between in front of the Bank of Montreal and the limit of House Creek as far as Acadia here. We talk about a contribution of $1.5 million, a total project of $1.5 million, and the sharing of costs between the City of Dieppe and in the resolution we want the preservation of the asphalt. Only part of Champlain, Amiro, and Acadia Street for a project of $425,000 shared between the city and the resolution. People will read it. It'll be clear on the next 4 years. but it's renewable every year, and we revise at the end of the construction the following year. And for 2020, you have it here. For the reading of the resolution, Mr. Snow. Thank you, Your Worship. That Council approved the City of Dieppe priority project under the Municipal Designated Highway Program for the 2020 to 2024 period as outlined below. 2020, mill and pave Champlain Street, $1,575,000 from the westerly limit of the city, Acadia. Financing source, City of Dieppe, $705,000. New-Brunswick Department of Transportation Infrastructure, $869,400. Asphalt preservation, $425,000. Crack sealing, Champlain Street from Acadia Avenue to Midland Drive. Microsurfacing, Champlain Street, Industrial Intersection. Amiro Street from Chartersville Road to Marsh. And Acadia Avenue from Alain Gillette Street to Champlain Street. This financing source, City of Dieppe, $190,400. The New Brunswick Department of Transportation and Infrastructure, $234,000. 2021 asphalt preservation, $800,000. Crack sealing, Amiro Street, section in March and section from Chartersville Road to Melanson Road. Microsurfacing, Champlain Street from Acadia Avenue to Midland Drive. Financing source, City of Dieppe, $358,400. New Brunswick Department of Transportation Infrastructure, $441,600. 2022 asphalt preservation, $700,000. Microsurfacing, Amiro Street, section in Marsh and section from Chartersville Road and Melanson Road, and Champlain Street, eastern section of the city limit. Source of financing, City of Dieppe, $313,600. New Brunswick Department of Transportation Infrastructure, $386,400. 2023 mill and pave Champlain Street for $3,600,000 from Dieppe Boulevard to Mountain Flight College. Financing source, City of Dieppe, $1,612,800. New Brunswick Department of Transportation Infrastructure, $1,987,200. 2024 asphalt preservation, $300,000 in microsurfacing Champlain Street from the variety limit of the city to Acadia Avenue. Financing source, City of Dieppe, $134,400. Department of Transportation and Infrastructure, $165,600. I so move, Your Worship. Thank you, Mr. Snow. Moved by Mr. Snow, seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. On the question. Mr. Thibodeau, a question. Thank you, Your Worship. In 2022, we talk about microsurfacing in Champlain. Microsurfacing Champlain's easterly section up to the limit. Where does the easterly section start? Shouldn't we mention where it starts rather than where it ends? We have an answer. Mathieu Melanson, in the absence of Mr. Babin and Mr. Spencer, is the section that we did 2 years ago from the Mountain Flight College going east. So it's after the college. That's what I thought. But maybe we should insert it easterly section. It should be explained exactly. Thank you. Other question, Mr. LeBlanc? Thank you, Your Worship. I see that we don't talk. What is the condition of Amiro at the southerly section to the limit of the city, are we too advanced for microsurfacing, or is the road because quite a bit of repair has been done over the years? What is the condition of the road? Is it too late for microsurfacing? That's the answer. It's not recommended, by the way. Nevertheless, it is still in relatively good condition. That's what I was wondering. Before it worsened, well, we submitted the request in the past. It was not approved by the province at the time. So we're past the date in question. Thank you. So, no more questions. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried as presented. It brings us to 10.5, appointments. On September the 9th last, made a nomination for 3 years at Transaqua, but the guidelines are very clear that it's a 4-year duration. We must delete the last one and the duration is 4 years instead of 3 years. Did you consult with Mr. Willett? I left the message, and before we adopt the resolution, maybe we should wait and talk to him. We can, but he must sit. We'll check with him to see. We'll come back if we have to shorten. For the reading of the proposal of the resolution, Mr. Thibodeau. Thank you, Your Worship. That Council repealed a resolution adopted on September the 9th, 2019, titled Transaqua, Greater Moncton Waterways Commission, and adopt the following. That Council appoint Jean-Pierre Ouellet on Transaqua Board of Directors, Greater Moncton Wastewater Commission, for a term ending September the 1st, 2023. I so move. Moved by Councilor Thibodeau, seconded by Councilor Leblanc. Question? No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried as presented. 10.6, Planning and Development. Here, Your Worship, we have a rezoning application. The Planning Commission recommends to proceed with the amendment of the map and the zoning bylaw and the 6 elements that were attached to the resolution, just modalities. It's for your approval tonight and to proceed with the changes. Thank you for the first reading. It's not a first reading, it's a resolution. For the reading of the resolution, Mr. Bigdo. Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to ask you to read the long ones, yeah. While I hope nobody falls asleep, that Council accept the recommendation made on September the 18th, 2019 by the Planning Advisory Committee concerning an amendment to the Generalized Land Use Map Municipal Development Plan as outlined in bylaw Z-9, bracket 2017-3, and to the zoning map zoning bylaw as outlined in bylaw Z-10 2017-5 relating to a portion of property identified under BID 00243116 in order to accommodate the development of row houses. That Council further accept that this application be subject to Section 59 of the Community Planning Act with the following conditions. 1. Notwithstanding Section 3.11 of Zoning Bylaw Z10 2017, that the development will be carried out in general conformity with the site plan dated September the 9th, 2019, and attached as Schedule A to the memorandum dated September the 12th, 2019. Number 2. Notwithstanding paragraph 1, the development officer may approve up to a maximum of 10% minor changes to the site plans, such as the entrances, alignment, parking spaces, location, amenity space and building location. 3. That any part of the building facade facing a public street must be finished with 100% of specific material. 4. When landscaping subject to section 3.22 is indicated on the site plan, landscaping must be completed per section 3.32 of zoning bylaw Z-10 2017. Number 5. As illustrated on the site plan, a wooden fence must be installed along a portion of the property line east of the site in accordance with the requirements of bylaw Z-10 2017. Number 6. Unless otherwise specified in the condition identified above, the developments must be carried out pursuant to current municipal bylaws and regulation. That council proceed with first and second reading of bylaws Z-9 2017-3 and Z-10 2017-5. I so move, your worship. Moved by Councillor Brideau, seconded by Councillor Cormier on the question. Mr. Godet. Thank you, your worship. Just a question. Turning to number 3. When we say specific material, we don't say what it is. Is it to be determined, or we don't want to have the problem we had in the fall? If you refer to the zoning bylaw, there is no specific mention. In fact, it is different materials. It's to uplift the nature of the building. There's more than one. We want to make sure that it's not certain buildings. It's your definition of the zoning bylaw. Refer to the zoning bylaw, and you'll see what are the materials being required. The material and the word. Thank you. Mr. Boutier. Thank you, Worship. Concerning section 2, that says the development officer can approve up to a maximum of 10% of minor changes. How do we evaluate that you are at 10%? Do we talk about 10% of each component, or 10% of the total price? The main reason, the first reason, is that in rezoning, there will be a plan that will be submitted for the building. So it could be what is proposed on the site presently. It could be that there will be changes. Maybe the entrance will be displaced. And so it's a calculation that is simply done internally. And these are conditions that we added in the past. And it's, for instance, on conservation streets, there was 6%. So once we have the subdivision plan, we can evaluate or assess it. And for public safety, for whatever reason. And there could be an exit for emergency cars or trucks. It's a decision that is made internally to avoid having to come back all the time to council. Thank you. Councillor Leblanc. Thank you, Worship. I think the question was asked during the public presentation for the snow removal. It's 100% responsibility of the developer to take care of snow removal. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for the vote. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried as presented. 10. An interesting one, 10.7.1, the purchase of 2 electric ice resurfacers. So, yes, with the complex that is being built that is progressing well. We are planning the operation. It's part of the program of the municipal. We have to replace one. Following a tender call, we received some proposal. The one that is recommended is by Johnson Equipment, Joe Johnson, for $284,470.36 plus HST. This goes well with our sustainable program, so there's less emotion and whatnot. So we recommend to purchase these two electric resurfacers. To read the resolution, Mr. Cormier. Your Worship, that Council award the tender for the purchase of two electric ice resurfaces, Engo Wolf model, for the Recreational Facilities Department to Joe Johnson Equipment, pursuant to its proposal dated September the 5th, 2019, the cost of $284,478.36 plus HST, and authorize this expenditure to be taken from account number 3-3-20-12-7903, General Capital Budget Equipment Program. I so move. Moved by Councillor Cormier, seconded by Councillor Brito. On the question, Mr. Leblanc. Your Worship, first of all, congratulations for having found the initiative to have two electric resurfacers. Secondly, compared to the cost, is there much difference in the cost to have the privilege of an electric resurfacer? Good evening, Mr. Dieppe. There is a difference of about $20,000 to $30,000 according to the model, depending on the model. So I assume that we check where already they operate resurfacers as to the quality of ice resurfacers. Yes, we did. I know a few hockey players around the table, and we won't see the difference. They won't see the difference. The product is very much developed and improved. I worry for the older people. Question, Mr. Ashton. Thank you, Your Worship. In the amount of money, $284,478.36. That's for both machines. Yes. I just want two resurfaces electric. Is that the same thing as Zamboni? Zamboni is a model. This is the machine, electric. We have Zamboni, we have this one, and the other one I forget. Zamboni, this one, and these are models. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried as presented. Now, municipal bylaws will proceed with the first one. First and second reading for bylaw Z9 2017-2 to amend a bylaw relating to the City Municipal Development Plan. Mr. Leblanc. Bylaw number Z-9 2017-2, a bylaw to amend a bylaw relating City of Dieppe Municipal Development Plan. I so move first reading by title only. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Leblanc, seconded by Councillor Ayala. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried as presented in first reading. We'll proceed with second reading, also by title only. Mr. Leblanc. Bylaw number Z-9 2017-2, a bylaw to amend a bylaw relating to the City of Dieppe Municipal Development Plan. I move the adoption and second reading, title only. Move and seconded on second reading. Z-9 2017-2. All those in favor of that resolution say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried as presented. Now we'll proceed with first reading of Z-10 2017-4 to amend zoning bylaw. And we'll ask Councillor Leblanc to read by title only. I said Leblanc. I mean, Alain. The other extreme. The other Leblanc. Thank you, Your Worship. My grandmother was a Leblanc, so that's okay. Bylaw number Z-10 2017-4, a bylaw to amend the City of Dieppe zoning bylaw. I move, Your Worship. First reading by title only. Moved by Councillor Alain, seconded by Ms. Sarsno. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. So Z-10 2017-4 is adopted. First reading by title will proceed with second reading by title only. Bylaw number Z-10 2017-4, a bylaw to amend the City of Dieppe zoning bylaw. That's a move. Move in second reading by Councillor Alain, seconded by Councillor Arsenault. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. So Z-10 2017-4 is adopted in second reading by title only. This brings us to bylaw Z-9 2017 to amend bylaw relating to the municipal development plan for first and second reading by title only. Mr. Thibodeau. Thank you, Your Worship. Bylaw number Z-9 2017-3, a bylaw to amend bylaw relating to the City of Dieppe Municipal Development Plan bylaw. I so move first reading by title only. Moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Brito. On the question. No question. All those in favor of adopting, please say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried as presented. In second reading for title only, Mr. Thibodeau once again. Thank you, Your Worship. Bylaw number Z-9 2017-3, a bylaw to amend a bylaw relating to the City of Dieppe Municipal Development Plan bylaw. I move in second reading by title only. Moved by Councillor Thibodeau and seconded by Councillor Brito. On the question. No question. All those in favor of the resolution say aye. Contrary minded, nay. So Z-9 2017-3 is adopted. Second reading. 11. Bylaw Z-10 2017-5, a bylaw zoning bylaw by title only, first and second reading. Mr. Arsenault. Your Worship. Bylaw number Z-10 2017-5, a bylaw to amend the City of Dieppe zoning bylaw. I move first reading, title only. Moved by Ms. Arsenault, first reading, seconded by Councillor Thibodeau. Question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried as presented. Proceed with second bylaw by title only. Thank you, Your Worship. Bylaw number Z-10 2017-5, a bylaw to amend the City of Dieppe zoning bylaw. I so move in second reading by title only. Thank you. Moved by Ms. Arsenault, seconded by Councillor Thibodeau. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Resolution is carried as presented in second reading by title only. We'll proceed. Number 12, notice of motion. None. So, inquiries and appointments by members of council. If I'm not mistaken, we start with Mr. Alain. Thank you, Your Worship. I simply want. There's a lot of business, corporation in our beautiful city. that were nominated for the Prize of Excellence by the Greater Moncton Chamber of Commerce, an event that will be held on October 23rd at Casino New-Brunswick. The finalists are Excellence in Business. We find CF Chamblanc and the Romeo Leblanc International Airport. Excellence in Business, Small and Branding, Adela Properties. The Emerging Corporation, Brasserie Carac, my favorite one. Excellence Environment, we find again the Romeo Leblanc International Airport and Sogia Dieppe. Dieppe. Business in health, in young and entrepreneur memories to go. So these are all businesses we find here in Dieppe that even if they're finalists, I find that it's quite important, and it's something we should congratulate them for their commitment, in our community. That's all for me. Thank you. We wish them good luck on that event. We'll be there. Ms. Arsenault. Good evening. Thank you, Your Worship. September the 18th, I went to the AGM at the Legend restaurant for Carrefour pour Femmes, women's shelter. And congratulations to the volunteer who are doing great work. Once again, thank you very much. It was a beautiful AGM. On September the 15th, I went to Mad Canada at Fairhaven Memorial Garden. It was to commemorate the people who died under the influence of drugs. It still happens within. There's a lot. Please support Mad Canada, Mothers Against Drinking and Driving. But it's not only drinking and driving, but it's also the drugs. Please be careful. September the 13th, I went for the Human Rights Day and the Human Rights Commission that was in Fredericton. And there we congratulated and commemorated Mr. McDonald for the prize of New-Brunswick Human Rights Award. There was a group of young students from Abbé Landry School in Memramcook. They were grade 4 to grade 6 students who won the youth award. They must be congratulated. They were not only the only two young girls, there were 150 young persons who participated in creating a song for the human rights, the right of youth. Congratulations is in order for all these persons to try and press for the rights of every person. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Arsenault. Mr. Thibodeau. Thank you, Your Worship. I have nothing for tonight. Thank you, Mr. Boutier. Same, nothing tonight. Thank you, Mr. Brideau. Nothing for tonight. Thank you, Mr. Cormier. Thank you, Your Worship. I would simply like to thank the citizens of Chartersville for their patience, and the project is going forward. Let's hope by the end of October there will be less dust. Is there a timetable? Can we be informed? Mr. Minaso said the end of October it should be completed, maybe before, but it depends on the weather. I saw that we are building the curve. It's a good sign. When the curve are going up, it's a good sign. Thank you. That's it. Thank you, Mr. Leblanc. Thank you, Your Worship. I noticed the other day that we had some pipes installed on Fox Creek Street, very close to the multi-purpose building. That's to repair the drainage that we had. And the timetable, when would be the expiry date? for the trail. I didn't understand the location. I believe it's a drainage problem for the water that is coming from the field that goes on the trail. I imagine it's public work that takes care of it. Have an idea? Is it something that the fence are there? Scheduled for Thursday, but depending on the weather. Is it a major repair? No, it's a one-day thing. It won't be very long. Would there be a traffic problem? It can be, but it won't completely be closed down. Thank you. Thank you. That's it. Mr. Cadet, thank you, Worship. 2 points. I received a call from a citizen who was concerned somewhat with everything that is happening with climate change and the change with the trees. Some trees are falling down. Some fell on houses, on cars. And he was wondering if the city would consider to create a group to look at the kind of program could be implemented. It won't be the last time that we'll have bad weather, that we have a hurricane of that kind. At the present time, the citizen is worried whether the tree on his property should be cut. If it falls, who's responsible for what? If the tree falls half on his property and half on the street, there are all kinds of issues that are becoming more and more important with the storm, the hurricane. I wish we would look at that element. The person was saying that he has a tree that is 100 years old. It's on his property. It fell down. It's a question, is there programs within the municipality that can help him to clean or remove the trees? Following day or 2 days later, the city have the equipment to deal with a broken tree. That's an issue to be raised. What can we do? I don't know if there are programs or if something that exists in other municipalities that could help us. Your Worship, we can look to see what it means exactly. We can look because climatic change will be more and more often. There are private companies to cut trees that exist. They are expert to evaluate or assess the trees. Maybe the people should have it evaluated. I did it personally. It reassured me somewhat, but there's no guarantee nevertheless. The wind that we had with Dorian hurricane was strong winds. We have to take cautions, but there are private companies that offer this service. Second items, I've had the opportunity to attend the annual meeting of Ensemble that was formerly Aid Moncton, where we had a presentation by the activities for last year. It seems that it would be worthwhile that we ask that person to appear before the council to make a presentation what is happening in the community. Very few people know that the opioid problem in Greater Moncton exists. Over 800 registered persons have problems with opioid. That organization distributed over 330,000 syringes to people who are caught in despair, That organization will distribute these items without judgment to help to protect the people against the problem caused by the use of these items. I was surprised by the importance of the threat caused within the three municipalities. If there is an opportunity, she's ready to come and talk to not only to us but through television and mention to the public what exists problem-wise. And I think we contribute in a financial way to that organization, don't we? I don't know how we do it, but I think it's important, and I congratulate the volunteer. I don't know how they do it to work in that field. They're convinced people, I can assure you, to work in a field where they distribute over 300,000 syringe. It's quite a job to me to support the people. It's important, and the public should be made aware. Thank you. Maybe we could ask them to apply to come and make a presentation on the third Monday of the month. That's when we receive the presentation from organization like them. Next time you talk with Mrs. Warren, formerly councillor with the City of Riverview. If there's other organization, any organization, that's why we created that third meeting of the month, is to receive presentation from different organizations. So if you meet organization, they say, we'd like to come to council, well, call management here and the administration and reach the manager, the administrator, send an email to the mayor, and we'll make sure there's a follow-up. Thank you. Thank you. I have nothing to add other than summer is over. I don't know how to tell you, but summer is over. The level of activities for this councillor, the activities will increase. Thank you for your active participation in our community, and good evening, everyone.